Hello and welcome to the 2014 World Championship pregame show, live from Seoul's Sangam World Cup Stadium. Over the past 4 weeks, 16 teams have battled it out for a spot here on this incredible world stage. We've seen pentas, we've seen upsets, and we've even seen a few immortal Nexus battles. But now, only 2 teams stand tall, Starhorn Royal Club and Samsung White. It's been a long road to the Summoners Cup, and we're about to take the final steps. So lock it down, because the 2014 World Championship pregame show starts right now.
Hello everyone and welcome to Sangam Stadium in Seoul, South Korea. As you guys can see from the shot of the stadium, we still have a massive queue of people coming in. So we are pushing the start of the opening ceremonies back just a little bit to make sure everyone has time to find their seats. And on the topic of the venue, this historic venue was host for the 2002 FIFA World Cup. Today is the setting for the 2014 League of Legends World Championship as the 2 best teams in the world face off for the Summoners Cup. We're about to kick off today's action, and I am joined by my stalwart companions once more who've been with us every step of the way. Starting, of course, with Mr. David Freak Turley from the North American LCS. Mitch Crepo Forceballs joins us from the Evil Geniuses, as well as Counterlogic Gaming's Yiliang Double of Ping, as well as OnGameNet shoutcaster Christopher Monte Cristo Michaels, who is celebrating his birthday today. Happy eSports birthday.
Hey, thank you very much. What did you get me, Trevor?
Beautiful event in your hometown. Gentlemen, welcome to what's going to be an epic day, and I'm looking forward to it.
It's going to be fun. Thank you very much. Quick shot. So teams from around the globe have competed all year long to make it to Worlds, and now for 2 teams that moment has finally arrived. But before either China's Starhorn Royal Club or Korea's Samsung White hoist the Summoners Cup, we've got a lot of excitement in store for you today. The opening ceremony will begin shortly with traditional Korean music, followed by a live performance from Imagine Dragons playing their hit song Warriors.
Yeah, then the 2 teams will compete in a best-of-5 series, with 1 team becoming the 2014 League of Legends World Champions. After that, we'll have the presentation of the Summoners Cup, the MVP award, fireworks, and an encore performance from Imagine Dragons.
So keep your radios active or streams or televisions, because it's time to take you guys around the venue.
Yeah, of course. Throughout Worlds, we have had several teams working hard to bring all of the action to League fans around the globe. There's actually 24 broadcast partners sending these games out in 16 different languages, and we certainly hope you've been enjoying the coverage. We're going to take a quick look around. Of course, the LPL casters are here and ready to cover the action for the Chinese audience, while OGN casters and crew certainly look excited and dapper for their broadcast. Our trio of casters will be calling the games Joe Miller, Rivington Bislin III, as well as Joshua Jat Leesman, and of course Shocks in the interview room. She'll be talking to some past world champions, along with players from today's matches. We'll be checking in with her shortly as she shows us the excitement happening all around the venue. Before Imagine Dragons take to the stage, let's take a look back at Starhorn Royal Club and Samsung White's path to today's finals. After sweeping their way through the group stage, Samsung White dispatched Team Solar Mid before crushing Samsung Blue in the semi-finals, and they earned the first spot in the World Championship.
And on the other side of the bracket, it was a much closer fight for Starhorn Royal Club, who were taken to all 5 games by 2 Chinese rivals, Edward Gaming and OMG, on their way to the finals here.
Yeah, and showing up shortly on your screens will be a countdown clock. Once we get ready, it'll signal that we are getting closer to the opening ceremony. And then, of course, we'll get to the final. Let's take a look at the contestants that will take part in that titanic clash to crown a World Championship team. First up, it is Korea's Samsung White. They come into the series as the heavy favorites, and we've seen them absolutely dominate the competition throughout Worlds. They even beat Samsung Blue, who they've been able to take down all year long.
And to say that Samsung White has been dominant is absolutely an understatement. Not only do they own the highest team KDA at Worlds, but their 5 starters each own the top KDA for their individual roles as well. They've taken out the #1 Chinese, North American, and Korean seeds throughout this entire tournament, only dropping a single game total, and the bottom lane of Imp and Mata is widely considered to be the best in the world.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. And earlier this week, Samsung White's AD carry Imp sat down with Jat to talk about playing in front of the home crowd and going head-to-head against Uzi.
Finally in Korea here.
what's about to happen is anyone's game.
So we will be getting to that package in just a moment or two. And, you know, it's quite nice when the players actually take some time to talk to the casters and analysts. And I believe we've got that ready for you. Let's kick to it.
Hello everyone, I am here with Imp from Samsung White, 2 days before the World Finals. And Imp, my first question for you is, you've had such success here at Worlds this year. What has been your favorite moment?
아마도 제가 가장 좋았을 때는 최초의 펜타킬 있잖아요. 가장 처음 펜타킬을 기록했을 때였던 것 같아요, 베인으로.
And I mean, you actually got 2 pentakills throughout the entire World Championship. Why was the first one more memorable for you?
최초기 때문에 뭔가 지금까지 롤 대회가 4번 열렸는데 처음이었잖아요. 그래서 더였던 것 같아요. 뭔가 처음이란 게 잘 기억에 남으니까.
You said previously that Uzi was the best AD carry in the world. Now that you've seen him play at Worlds and you've had such a great performance yourself, has your opinion changed or has it stayed the same?
저랑 우지 선수만 따로 놓고 비교하자면 우지 선수가 최고인데 근데 이 롤은 리그 오브 레전드는 혼자서 하는 게임이 아니라 팀 게임이잖아요. 그래서인지 저는 팀원들이랑 호흡도 더 잘 맞출 수 있고.
And now knowing that you're going up against Starhorn Royal Club in the finals, after your semifinals, you knew it was going to be either OMG or Starhorn. Did you expect Starhorn to be in the finals?
대충 속마음으로 대충 예상은 로얄 클럽이 약간 뭐라 해야 되지? 약간 근소하게 이길 거라고 생각은 했는데 너무 뭔가 밀리는 느낌이 나더라고요. 그래서 그래도 저는 OMG를 상대하는 게 편해서 지길 바랬는데 그래도 네 마음은 그랬어요. 로얄 클럽이 이길 거라고 생각했어요. 근데 로얄 클럽이 너무 약한 모습을 많이 보여줘가지고 들뜨긴 했었어요.
Final question for you now. This is now the World Finals. You can see the size of this crazy venue. How are you feeling going in, knowing that you could win the World Championship for Korea?
좀 약간 붕 뜨는 느낌? 약간 붕 뜨는 느낌? 뭐라 해야 되지? 롤드컵이란 대회가 열린다는 걸 알았을 때 막 저 대회에서 우승하면 얼마나 기쁠까? 하고 생각했었는데 지금 여기까지 온 것도 뭔가 대단한 것 같고 우승한다면 정말 좋을 것 같아요.
Imp, now that you're here and seeing the venue for your own eyes, we've never been in a place this big. Just talk to me a little bit about what you see here and how excited you are.
솔직한 마음으로는 지금 저 잔디에 누워 뒹굴고 싶어요. 저. 그냥 크고 경기 잔디가 예쁘네요.
It's ridiculous to see Imp have so much humility and respect for Uzi and just say, yeah, Uzi's probably better. I mean, that's not what you would expect from a cocky player like Imp, but it's not to discredit him. He's pretty much a close second for best ADC in the world, and I really think he's the first and only player to get 2 pentakills at World Championships. This guy's really explosive. He has amazing situational awareness. He can show he's probably the best Twitch in the world. I mean, this guy, when I watch his Twitch, it's like magic.
Yeah, something we always say, he synergizes with his team maybe a little more than Uzi does in that hard carry role. And
yeah.
Talking about that, on the other side of the rift, Samsung White will find China's Starhorn Royal Club waiting for them. This is Royal Club's second straight trip to the World Finals, but unlike Samsung White, their journey was much more difficult. They come into the finals with an 11-5 record after a quarterfinal and semi-final series that went all the way to 5 games.
But if anything that shows how resilient this team can be when it counts the most, they are, of course, anchored by Uzi at AD carry, and Starhorn has proven they can rally when they are down, and they thrive when they are under pressure. As a massive underdog to Samsung White in this series, only time will tell if they can respond one more time and pull out that crazy upset and win China's first ever Summoners Cup.
It's definitely something they want, and one Royal Club player who is very familiar with Samsung White is their jungler, Insec. Jat also caught up with him earlier this week to talk about returning to Korea to play in the World Championship final.
I'm joined today by Insec from Starhorn Royal Club. And Insec, you guys have made it all the way to the finals here at the World Championship. What has been your favorite moment?
4강, 8강 둘 다 힘들게 이기긴 했는데 전 8강 때 이제 제 트라우마였던 승승패패패를 깨서 8강이 좀 더 기억에 남아요.
And in the past, you were considered the best jungler in the world. Currently, Dandy probably holds that title, but you play against him here in the World Finals. Where do you see that falling now? Best jungler in the world, Where do you rank yourself? How is that working?
일단 그거에 대해서 약간 설명을 하면 데니 선수 정말 잘하는데 지금 팀 시너지까지 돋보여서 지금 더욱더 이제 지금 데니 선수를 빛나게 하고 있어요. 그래서 일단 정글을 기본적으로 저보다 잘하기도 해서 제가 좀 지금은 당장 확실히 좀 데니 선수보다 부족한 것 같아요.
And now that you're back here all the way into the World Finals, how does it feel and how did it feel walking into the World Cup Stadium today, and how excited are you for the championship?
그냥 정말 크다 하고 중구에 제 예선전을 큰 데서 했거든요. 롤드컵 예선전을. 그래서 거기랑 비슷한가 생각하기도 하고 했는데 그냥 여기가 좀 더 큰 것 같아요.
Since you spent this past season in China in the LPL, how has it felt coming back to play again in Korea?
일단 제가 가기 전에 약간 농담 반 진담 반으로 다시 LPL에서 한국 리그로 롤드컵으로 돌아오겠다고 했는데 그냥 그 약속을 지킨 것 같아서 약속을 지킨 것 같아요.
And for you personally, being such a huge star in Korea, then eventually getting released by the KT Bullets, what would it mean to come back to Korea and win the World Championship?
딱히 그러니까 중국 팀의 일원으로보다 저는 그냥 로얄 클럽 팀의 일원으로서 우승했다고 생각하기 때문에 그냥 국적에 대해서 크게 생각하지 않은 편이고 그냥 단순히 팀으로 생각할 것 같아요.
Coming up against Samsung White now, not very many people are giving Royal Club a chance to win. What are your thoughts on that?
힘들게 올라온 만큼 그래도 재미없지 않게 결승전 최선을 다할게요.
Well, thank you very much, Insec, and good luck at the World Championship.
Thank you.
Man, Insec he's been a player that I've been passionate about for so long. We all know him because of his dazzling mechanics. I've had the pleasure of casting him for many, many seasons here in Korea. And he's one of those guys, he's got that move, the Insec named after him. He's world famous, but he's never won a tournament. He was one game away from beating SK Telecom T1K in Champions Summer 2013 a year ago, but he failed to make Worlds at the same time. And even though he is just so good mechanically, sometimes his decision-making and his engages are a little preemptive or awkward. And as a result, we did see him kind of slump with the strategy-first, rotation-first, kind of objective-based Korean style in the middle of 2014. It did cause him to be released from his longtime team, KT Rolster. But it's so fun to see him back here now because it seems like Starhorn Royal Club is really just the perfect team for Insec's play style. The immediate follow-up, that level of aggression, the level of trust that they have with these smart pings when they're not even fully able to communicate with one another is extraordinary.
And it's incredible, too. You saw this with the interview, both with Insec talking about Dandy as well as Imp talking about Uzi, where they're saying, well, yeah, it's the teamwork that means so much more. These players are all fairly close to each other in individual skills. Sure, you could talk about Dandy being the single best jungler, Imp being top 2, top 3, but the fact that it's the teamwork that's making these teams so strong, I think, is great to see.
I've got a question for Double F. We were talking quite extensively about the communication side of things on Starhorn Royal Club. So share your thoughts on that sort of storyline that we were discussing backstage as we prepared for this final.
Yeah, so I think that, well, it all comes back to last season. I thought last season, SK Telecom T1K, that was probably the closest I've seen League of Legends played to perfect. When I think of robots, 5 robots who were just programmed to play League perfectly, that was really close. Now, I see Samsung White is even closer than last year. And then I think of Royal Club, and part of playing perfectly is having perfect communication. One person cannot see everything on the map. You need information from all 4 of your teammates. And Royal Club's communication really breaks down into smart pings, which is not really that effective at conveying a lot of
They're in the World
information.
Finals. It's obviously doing something right.
But they have a distinct disadvantage, even if they're not necessarily worse individually. As a team, their synergy won't be as great as a team that can communicate effectively in the same language.
At the same time, I just want to highlight how proud Royal Club should be for playing in this double broken language. It's extremely hard to communicate League of Legends in the same language. If we've played in full English teams and we've struggled with that, they're playing in different languages that none of them have as their main language, and then they have to rely on smart pings, and they made it to World Finals, and it highlights in the style they play, zero hesitation, full-on aggressive. Sadly enough, White's just very good at abusing that.
But that's the thing is, and you were talking about this as well, Monte Cristo, with Insec finding the right team for him, is sometimes when you make a team, you make the right team. You make a team of 5 players who instinctively play the same kind of game, and it makes it so much easier to coordinate as a group of 5 when you've all got the same goals, you've all got the same instincts, and you just have amazing zero hesitation plays that talking couldn't even handle. You've got to have the same instincts to even do them, and that's what's great about Royal Club.
And that's what gives them such a unique flavor as well as a team. And that's what I really love, is talking about each of these kind of team strengths and weaknesses as we come in here. And it really is just kind of miraculous that Starhorn Royal Club managed to make it this far, but they've done it on some great playmaking.
Yeah, I didn't mean to discredit Royal Club at all. I think it's ridiculously impressive that they managed to make it all the way to the finals without perfect communication. I mean, that's just a handicap in itself, and they have to more than compensate for that in skill, in playmaking, and strategy, and everything.
And they definitely are doing that. We'll have to see how they perform on the finals. Before we get to that, we need to roll forward just a little bit. And last week on the semi-finals show, we did ask a World's Trivia question about the finals. And the question was, which player secured the fastest first blood in World's final history, and what was the time?
And the correct answer was the Taipei Assassins mid laner Toys in 2 minutes flat. I believe that was against the support of Frost. I'm blinking Mad Life. He did it against Mad Life in Game 4 of the Season 2 World Championship Final. This time, 28 of you managed to submit the right answer. So as Maokai would say, we're getting closer to stumping you.
Yeah, but Maokai will have to wait, because today, instead of quizzing you about world records, we actually want you to look back at the past 4 weeks of Worlds and answer this. What has been your favorite moment from Worlds so far, and why?
And of course, that's everything from the group stages and beyond, so think back about what you've enjoyed the most and send your answers to us at LoL Esports on Twitter, along with the hashtag Worlds.
Yeah, we will actually share some of our favorite answers in the post-game wrap-up show after the final is concluded and a world champion is found. If you'd like to find out more information about the teams taking part, players from Worlds, or watch VODs to refresh your memory, head over to lolesports.com. That's where you'll discover articles, stats, and a whole lot more.
And of course, while you're there, head to the schedule at the top of the page and vote for which team you think will become the 2014 World Champions. We're going to take a look at your predictions before Game 1. And you can also navigate to our YouTube channel, where you're going to find a special feature about OGN's Hype Master Jun, who's been keeping the crowds entertained throughout Worlds Live in Korea.
Yeah, and that dude is incredible. Speaking of hype, to commemorate the 2014 World Championship, there is a championship skin, ward, and icon available in the store right now through until October 31st.
So be sure to pick up the Championship Shyvana skin along with the 2014 Championship Award and icon before the 31st, because they won't be available again for another year. Each item is available separately or in a discounted bundle that includes the Half Dragon herself, because Worlds just sounds so much better when you say it with Flame Breath.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Now, for those of you who are not able to make the trip to Sangam Stadium, we wanted to give you a look at all of the fun that's happening here during this World Championship celebration. And to do that for us, I'd like to welcome Shox to the pregame show. How's it going, Shox?
Well, Trevor, I am here at the World Finals in front of this incredible crowd in the incredible stadium, so I'd say that I'm doing pretty well. Now, the stadium was built for the 2002 FIFA World Cup, and just last year, Psy filled it up with his Korean Gangnam Style. Now, it is definitely the largest venue to ever host a League of Legends event. And as you can see behind me, we have merchandising booths where we can give fans all kinds of cool stuff. One of those is one of my personal favorites, this adorable Tivers doll. I really hope that I get to take one of those home after the show. But there's not only a ton of stuff going on inside the stadium, but also a lot of cool things for the fans outside of the stadium. One of those things is the cosplayer show by the guys and girls from Team CSL and the Spiral Cats. There's also a fan art exhibition where fans have a chance to share their artwork with everyone here at Worlds, including an awesome mechanical Baron Nashor who doesn't look ready to give up his buff. And some of the fan artists are on hand signing special posters featuring their artwork as well. And not only fans are showcasing their artistic creations, but we also have a graffiti wall where pros are tagging scenes from the Imagine Dragons Warriors video, as you will see in a second. In short, there's just tons of incredible stuff going on here for the fans, both inside and outside the stadium throughout the venue, Trevor.
Absolutely fantastic. Shox, thank you so much for that look around. And it is great to be here in person. I hope you guys at home get a little taste of that. Guys, we have been singing Warriors since it came out at the beginning of Worlds, and I'm excited to see them take the stage in just a couple of minutes. The clock is counting down. Earlier this week, guys, Riv and Crepo had a chance to sit down with Imagine Dragons to talk about their journey to the World Championship.
What's going on, everybody? Rivington here, hanging out with Crepo at the Sangam World Cup Stadium. We are very pleased to be joined by Imagine Dragons. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us. I want to get to a little later the fact that you guys were streaming, having a huge amount of fun. But for now, Warriors, huge song right now. How did this creative collaboration just start with Riot? Where did it begin?
Well, it all started on tour. You know, there's so many, like, you come off stage, and the kind of adrenaline that is pumping through your veins, it's pretty hard to like unwind. So we all kind of were gamers and someone like said, "Hey, have you ever played League of Legends?" I think maybe it started with me or you.
You, yeah.
Was me. Anyway, so I was like, "No, I'll try it." So I played it, and then I introduced the guys to it.
Well, you told me about it, and you're like, "It's like the coolest game ever."
I was like, I don't even want to tell. I actually remember I was like, I don't want to tell you about it because it will like take over your life.
We find ourselves with like weird pockets of time to fill during the day before a show also. So, but like we usually have Wi-Fi, so it was actually like a perfect fit. It was like
So you guys will actually try to play on the road when you can.
Oh, we do. Oh, we do. Like we will be. I can't tell you how many times we're like overseas and like getting the European.
What's the ping?
Yeah, are we in North America right now? Okay, I'll download that. Quick, start downloading. There's a new patch. Oh, like,
the new patch
in the hotel in the middle of the night. But yeah,
I think we have time if we start right now, guys.
we I will tell you this. We have been late on stage in front of like 20,000 plus people in an arena, literally just due to the fact that we were playing a League of Legends game.
It's a secret.
Yeah.
Well, if there was ever a reason, that would be the best one. So how did Imagine Dragons work with Riot Games to come up with Warriors? What was kind of the idea? Where did it come from?
We met Christian, who is over the music, and just started riffing off and talking and wanted to create together. It was really this super organic thing. It just felt like, I don't know, it was something that we loved, and they were a fan of the music, and we were like, well, let's do something together.
What was the length of that process? Because it doesn't happen overnight.
Right.
There was a lot of collaboration between both.
What would you say? It was probably about a month, right, of back and forth.
Yeah. It was a month of kind of starting to create a song, and you get the bare skeletons, and he said, well, let me pull it in with this huge like 100-piece orchestra I have, and like write out some parts and like bring in some timpanis and different things. It was a really fun process. I really didn't know what to expect, honestly, when we first sent him our bare bones. Yeah, it was really cool.
Was that a new process for you guys to kind of write something, throw it out there, and then get it back with something else new, and then you have to dabble with it?
Totally.
Yeah. I think we're a pretty like introverted bunch. Like we haven't done a lot of collaboration with other people, so we're kind of careful about that. But this was just so organic and easy. Like it has to be easy for us to do it. It's got to feel natural, So it was so natural with him that it was really fun.
Well, there's definitely a love there that comes from League. You guys were streaming with Crepo and Skara. Yes. You guys actually just decided to play, and then it went online, which led to a whole bunch of different things. I heard there were champion swaps. What were you trying to AD for somebody and then support? And what was going on?
Yeah, so we were both fighting for support, and good guy Imagine Dragons actually let me play support for first game. But then we unleashed the Terrible Illusion. I think I tried to play, and the Fiddlestick support kind of didn't work out.
He is a great Fid support. Like
it's a thing.
It was. I think at that point we were being ghosted in our match. Also, I think that was happening a little bit. I think I tried to do it was the saddest. I mean, I know Amumu was already a sad mummy, but that had to have been the saddest Amumu that's ever happened ever.
So how'd you guys feeling playing with some pros? What was that like?
I felt extra not good.
I felt very small.
To lose with like two of the best players in the world,
you have to be really bad, right?
Hey, we won some, we lost some. It was always due to us for the losses.
Whoa, Blue Kong did carry.
Well, I heard there were wins. What is this Blue Kong about? Because you let him run into lane or into jungle with AP runes.
No blue buff leash at the beginning.
Yeah, what is?
Nice
guy Crepo over here.
I literally wanted to die. We started the game with these pros. It was like the big moment. I was way more nervous to do that than like any show or anything. I'm like shaking, and then I'm like, oh my gosh, guys, I picked like the wrong runes. Like I'm brand
palm right there.
Yeah, I was, and everybody was so nice, but it was just donezo.
So when you guys had a chance to check the Twitch chat, I heard there was something to the effect of, I will buy all your singles if you let the opponents gank Crepo and let him die. How tempting was this?
I took it. That's why we lost.
You gotta watch out. Twitch chat is dangerous.
Yeah.
These guys playing.
It's nerve-wracking. Like that was my first experience with Twitch, and it's very nerve-wracking because you feel like if you make a mistake, well, you literally are. You're like everybody's saying it, And so you definitely think twice when you're like, I'm gonna go do this like risky move. You're like, maybe I'll play it cool and like keep my 0-0-0 right now.
I think everyone should have a Crepo support somewhere on the team because it makes your life so easy. Those hooks were just coming in. It was so easy just to aim and click. It makes it really easy. So thank you.
As long as there's no wind wall.
Right.
Of course. The dreaded wind wall.
So during the stream, you guys seemed really genuinely just touched by what the fans were saying. Everybody on Twitch about the new Warriors. What has it been like since the release of the song and the new video?
It's been a great response for sure from even old fans that have been there since the beginning. I've heard great stuff from newer fans that are just kind of getting into the band. I've heard great stuff, and I've heard so much positive stuff about the video. Like everyone loves the video, even people that don't know what League of Legends is.
The video is just unreal in the way it kind of captures the song. It's kind of cool that we had the opportunity to create something a little outside of the music that we usually make, something a little more cinematic, a little more kind of, I don't know, dramatic,
Grandiose,
something that can kind of score the excitement that comes from this.
You know, at the end of the day, the most important thing to us and to our fans are that our project is real. Everything we do is real. This is who we are. You know, at the end of the day, Imagine Dragons is what Imagine Dragons is. As long as we're being true to that, our fans are cool with it. So our fans absolutely know. You know, I think I tweeted probably like 7 months ago, like, play League of Legends, this game's awesome. So it's like, it's part of our life. It's part of our story. Our fans just want to know our story. And so to create a song and to do it, you know, with something that we love, it's cool to us, it's cool to our fans, and yeah, we've been really happy.
Guys, I want to thank you so much again for joining us here at the Sangam World Cup Stadium, taking time out of your busy schedule to hang with us today. It's really meant a lot, and we can't wait to hear the show.
Right on,
Thanks for having us.
so much.
I just want to stress on like how much of a league players they actually are, because they got to Korea the same day they actually wanted to go to a PC bong and start playing League, and they were so open to the coaching and they were so humble, and I was so surprised because these guys fill out these like big stadiums, and then they're like, yo, what do I do? What do I buy? Where do I go right now? And even right today, I was almost late to this very analyst desk because I was inside playing with them, and they were just like long game, 50 minutes, a brawl, so much fun. So it's really cool to see people that I actually look up to, like music-wise, and just what they do for their job is my hobby. And at the same time, their hobby is my job, so it's really cool interacting with them. And yeah, once again, I think I have more ego than Imagine Dragons, so that was a bit of a reality check for me.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's like, these are the biggest celebrities, the most famous people I've hung out with to date, and they have no ego. They are totally like, when they asked me to coach, or when they asked everyone to coach, they're totally okay with you backseat driving them, telling them like, oh, you should try this, do this, do this. They have no ego. They're not like, oh, I'm Imagine Dragons, look at me, I'm so important. They're just super down to earth. If I didn't know that they were Imagine Dragons, I would just think they were just these really normal, cool people.
So, Double, did you get to play with him at all?
Yeah, I did. Well, I didn't get to play with him. I got to coach.
Yeah,
Okay.
Double and I backseat coached one of the teams. We won, thankfully. I was sitting behind
I'm the best coach.
cheering him on to win lane. Continued his undefeated Nivea streak. That was nice. And then, yeah, just helping out, finding guys to play. And
That was amazing.
it's very interesting, yeah.
One final question for Cripple. What was your win-loss record with them across your games? Because I know you've played a bunch of times, like on stream, PC Bang, like interviews.
Oh, so on stream, 1 and 2, and then I played one more game with them here, and then I made it 2 and 2. But I tried a little too hard.
Well, hey, look, winning a game in Korea, it's like worth 2 wins in NA, right? Yeah, we'll call it 3 and 2. We'll call it 3 and 2. All right, guys, as we can see from the clock, we are getting closer to kicking off the World Finals. But first, let's take a look back at the best plays from Samsung White and Starhorn Royal Club in the semi-finals, or as Insects Fiddlesticks likes to call them, the Penta Party. At number 5, it is Starhorn Royal Club shoving OMG really out of their base.
Uzi up in 3 seconds. Uzi could go in deep. The flash goes down. They're going to top lane. Get on towards him. OMG just scattering like the wind. And Starhorn Royal Club, they're pinging on the Nexus. Base to base.
At number 4, it's Insect tower diving for a double kill.
But in comes Insect. He's level 6. He's going to go for it. Double warded.
Yeah, they're going to see him coming in, but it might not even be enough. Here comes the surprise under the tower. They're going to take Sat. Can they get close? Insect tanking up the turret. Gets himself to double. The tower dive from Insect. Gets double kills, and they're able to leave as well.
Coming in at number 3 features Pawn stealing a dragon while picking himself up a double kill.
Are they going to be able to get
danger.
in?
That is big.
This is real danger.
That is big.
That's a kill. That was just not good.
The quick hit over. Acorn goes down. Dragon goes to Pawn. Pawn gets another one. What in the world is happening right now?
Really poor Dragon aggro swapping. Spirit didn't want to get low because he knew he had to smite, and no one else was in there to take the dragon for him.
Boom. And we have Carnage to start off game 2.
And at number 2, it's Starhorn Royal Club steamrolling a tower and netting 3 kills.
Bold style shows to OMG that they are willing to call bluffs, and here goes Insect! There ain't no party like the Royal Club party as they dive in the top of him. Insect will use the Zonias, and that right there is 2 men down, 3 men down. The tree gets himself 2, and they're going to take down this tower.
Starhorn will commit to a fight, and by God does it pay off.
Insect party's hard, man. These guys just pull the trigger.
And the #1 play has Dandy's Rengar going on the hunt and taking the head of Spirit's
Blast
Kha'Zix.
to the Idle Durant. We were saying it had to happen, but it's an all-in. You have to get out. Spirit with a nice jump to the back. He could have that reset to get out, but the mana's quite low. Dandy's trying to get the fight on. Has Fizz into the brush. Now into the base. Dade goes down. Mata's going to pick up doubles there.
What?
Tries to throw a torrent.
Oh
He cuts him down out of the air, peeling his wings right off.
Let's see that again. He gets his 5th point in Ferocity with the bola, heals as he jumps on top of him, and then finishes him with the Q. He had that plan.
I gotta say, I am just incredibly pleased by the Fiddlesticks play overall. I love seeing new stuff come out. I've never been one, it's like, oh, you've got to play the meta every time. There's always things that come out and work. And the amazing counter engages by Insect. To know the style that OMG plays, pulls it out in game 3, so if it doesn't work, he's got a game to fall back on anyway. Like, even the pick was planned within the series in the first place. And he's like, yeah, OMG's gonna dive in. We're gonna try really hard to get ward coverage, and then look at all these Crow Storms that I can make. Look at all these plays I can have happen. And there's even more synergy you could have. You could do it with a Thresh in your team and Lantern in for even better plays. Doesn't need those. Just very, very smart decision making. Planning his fights about 3 seconds in advance because he's got to get the channel going in the first place. Honestly, pretty wonderful.
And that was just one of the most crazy games to watch on the desk because I can still remember I was going back and forth. And Peter, at one point you said, this game's over.
Yep. I thought that they were at an insurmountable lead, the other team, that is. But it's just ridiculous to pull out Fiddlesticks, like that pocket pick that nobody would have expected, and come back 10,000 gold deficit with it. Like, the balls on that guy is insane.
Well, also, it helped that they had this giant, wombo combo AoE damage composition, and it only takes one good team fight where everybody's ults hit, even if you are 10k down, to make a comeback in that scenario.
Target ban Fiddlesticks?
And Panth, apparently.
Hey, you know what? That's a hell of a question.
Well, sure.
What about Akali in the top lane? We saw Fiddle, we saw Pantheon coming out.
Well, here's the cool thing about the champion pools, actually, is in general, Royal Club's champion pools are a little bit more shallow, but they are entirely shared. So if you, outside of these side picks like Pantheon and Fiddlesticks, if you ban anything on Royal Club's side, you're banning Samsung White's champions, right? If you're banning any of those champions, you're banning your own champions by doing that. So it almost gives more freedom to Royal Club because, like, well, we'll ban the Akali because there's no way Cola's playing this. Like, it's almost, in a way, easier for Royal Club's pick and ban.
Oh, what do you think, Monty? Makes sense. I mean, it's a quasi.
It's tenuous, but like the logic is there. As weird as it is.
It is there somewhere.
I think in terms of the jungle, but like in terms of everything else, I think those champion pools just run so deep. It's going to be extraordinarily difficult.
Oh, sure.
And of course, think about those semifinals. Of you guys at home, the Twitter question is, of course, what's your favorite moment from Worlds and why? Includes semis, includes groups, etc. One play that did not make it into the Penta, but is still entirely awesome, comes from Game 3 between Starhorn Royal Club versus OMG, and it was this edition of Worlds All Chat.
10 seconds left on Baron. If they overcommit here, Uzi comes up in 9 seconds, World Club can still win the game.
打拢，打拢，打拢，打拢，打拢，打拢，啊，打拢，打拢，打拢，
下了，下了，下了。
哦，下了，下。
有加血的，有加血的。
OK， go go go。
老鼠出来了，中标了，拿辅助。
OMG just scattering like the wind! And Starhorn Roka, they're pinging on the Nexus! They're going, look at Uzi! He's already going there!
The rat running up the mid lane here!
Yes, yes, yes. Go, 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 go!
一波了，偷就回了个树人。走你，我们回去。没就一个 GT 啊。买了。为什么总是想上啊？
我一，他们回不来。Oh, they caught the boat! The sapling landed! It stopped the recourse! And Starhorn Royal Club being back behind the whole game have come back with a brilliant couple of team fights. What a turnaround! Insect with the Crow Storm, absolutely pivotal. Oh my god! Oh my god! 差一点.
Wow. What a fantastic ending. That was one of those moments where you're surprised that a team can come back from that far behind. And like Double Lift, you were actually talking earlier about the communication on the side of Royal Club. There wasn't a lot of talking, but it seemed efficient.
I actually wanted to, like, a piece of my heart broke off when I saw San say, why do we always go in? Why do we always fight? Because if you're dwelling on past mistakes, especially right as you're about to lose when everyone's feeling terrible for throwing, it's going to put your entire team on tilt potentially. The best thing to do, just don't say anything. Just be like, it's okay, we got it next game. But I guarantee just him saying that small offhanded remark is going to affect them in the rest of the series, and it did.
I completely agree with Doublelift here. I've played like so many series back to back, and you don't want to get negative at all. And you saw it, like the Koreans have this phrase like breaking somebody's mental is what they call it. So if that actually happens, it can snowball out of control really quickly. And I just hope whatever happens in the series, people stay positive.
Yeah, the Korean word for that is menbun, which is a mental break. And so that's like kind of their equivalent of tilt right there. And absolutely, it's one of those things that you really have to lock down. And you have to have that cheerleader on the team, or you have to have a coach or a manager who can come up and kind of reset a player's mentality.
And this is something that you can apply to any sort of competitive, like even just in solo queue, not even in just competitive games when you're playing for money. It's like everyone knows that they made a mistake. You don't need to reinforce that and make them feel horrible about it, because it might potentially it's never going to benefit you. It only hurts you in the long run.
So Doublelift, I love the fact that we talked about Zan's position and his mindset, but I want to reiterate the question. What do you think about the calling that we saw from Starhorn Royal Club? Because as they were moving down towards the bottom lane, if I remember correctly, we're like, Baron, Baron, Baron. That's all Uzi was saying. That's a universal word. Then we didn't hear a whole lot, and we saw, the Maokai sapling toss coming in, punishing some of the mistakes. What did you think of the calling, good or bad, from what we saw in that short clip?
Well, when they're going to admit, I think it was funny that they switched to English randomly. It's just like, oh, go. Yeah, but I think there's a lot of merit to what they do. I think it's so smart that they use really short, like English phrases like go, or Baron. Like, these are universal words that everyone can understand. But at the same time, when Cola interrupted their recalls, for example, he said it in Chinese. And already right there, something went off my head. I was like, in second zero, don't know what's going on. And that could be a problem. Just really tiny things like that could add up in the finals.
The one benefit you have from using these small, tiny words is that it doesn't clutter your communication, and everybody can get in there. At the same time, in this play in particular, not much had to be said because they called for Baron, but then once they saw them, I mean, vision speaks louder than words because they saw what was going on. Again, they play so instinctively. Once they actually have the full overview, they don't really need to talk that much anymore. There's always forward and backwards, and in Royal's case, there's more forward than backwards.
And of course, that worked out. It was interesting as well to me to watch. You're talking about, everyone playing forward, sort of the instinctive play. OMG had the wrong instincts there. There was no way they're going to out-base race this team who's got an 80 carry running at an unturreted Nexus. And they're like, no, we've got to base race them. And it's like, that can't be your possible thought. And again, Double, you were talking about San saying, why do we go in? Well, why not spend that time to look at the map, be like, we have to defend here. You're all speaking Mandarin. It's not even going to be that hard.
Yeah.
And then say, no, you've got to defend by these 25 seconds we need so that we can get people to respawn.
I think the greatest thing to know about Royal is the fact that they all do have the same instincts, like you guys said. Sometimes it actually takes too long to say what you want to say, and then everyone's like, okay, I agree with what your call is, and I understand. Sometimes it's just best to just play completely off of feel. Even Faker said this, I play off feel and instinct, and just because of the fact that they all have the same mentality, that might give them a slight edge, just like half a second or a couple seconds more when it comes to jumping people making the play.
Yeah, go ham or go home.
Yeah, and then when...
Exactly. As they say it, the Starhorn model.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no other way to show your team that you're going in than just jump in with Lee Sin and kick some team member out. I mean, there's no better signal like, hey guys, we're about to fight. There's an enemy flying in your face. Let's fight.
Yeah, and I mean, it just kind of repeats itself over and over again, but you have to basically practice all the major strategies to, like, before the game starts, because you can't take 2 minutes to say, okay, guys, we're going to ward these 3 brushes, then sweep this one, then we're going to go for Dragon in 2 waves. Like, by that time has already passed. Like, these steps all have to be practiced out. Everyone has to know, okay, guys, we're doing the Dragon play, and then everyone knows their next minute and a half of steps.
And that's just when instinct comes into play, and the fact that Royal made it all the way to the finals just off of that alone, nearly, and smart pings, is just incredible. It's just such a miracle.
Yeah, maybe it is a miracle. We'll find out if they can do it again, if it is a miracle. Anyways, guys, Worlds has exposed fans around the world to new teams, to new players, but there's been one figure that has been catching everyone's attention, and it is OGN's legendary shoutcaster, June.
He's revered because he's been doing this for 15 years. His expertise is cross titles. He's done so many games. He's in commercials for games here in Korea. Everybody who knows esports knows who Jun Young-jun is.
Hello everyone. I'm the caster of OGN's LoL Champs. 온게임 OGN에서 LoL 관련해서 메인 캐스터를 하고 있고요. 이번에 월즈를 통해서 처음으로 이렇게 NA나 EO 팬들께 인사를 드리게 되네요. 캐스터 역할은 이렇게 분위기를 좀 살리고 사람들이 경기에 집중하게 하는 게 그 역할이라고 생각을 합니다. 그러니까 게임을 중계하면서 아주 전문적인 영역은 코멘테이터들이 담당을 하고 저 같은 경우에는 눈에 보이는 역할을 합니다. 뭐, 퍼스트 블러드, 펜타킬, 넥서스, 깨지네요. 뭐 이런 거 이런 건 사실 보지 않아도 그냥 누구나 다 알 수 있는 거거든요. 사실 제 해설을 듣지 않아도. 그러니까 그게 때로는 문법에 안 맞을 수도 있고 때로는 이렇게 말이 좀 어색할 수도 있고 뭐 한국말이랑 영어랑 섞여 있을 수도 있는데 저는 뉴스를 하는 사람이 아니어서 좀 더 즐겁게만 하면 되는 사람이라 정말 중요한 순간 이때는 딴 거 보지 마시고 경기에 집중해 주세요. 그런 느낌을 주기 위해서 빠른 그 스피드와 높은 톤으로 얘기를 하거든요. 그러니까 그게 다른 사람과 구별되는 부분이고 팬들의 어떤 그 귀를 그리고 눈을 이렇게 좀 사로잡기 위한 저만의 어떤 뭐 노하우라고 할 수 있겠죠. 그러니까 첫 번째 그 롤챔스 결승하던 때가 생각이 많이 나요. 제가 그때 이제 40이었거든요. 근데 10년 전에 제가 나이 40에 게임 캐스터를 할 수 있을 거라고 생각을 못했어요. 리그 오브 레전드가 그때 이제 한국에 서비스가 되고 리그 오브 레전드 대회가 생기면서 제가 나이 40에 그냥 조그만 대회가 아니 예전엔 큰 대회를 했는데 이제는 뭐 나이도 먹고 이제 감도 떨어지고 해서 조그만 대회라는 게 아니라 예전보다 더 큰 대회. 더 화려한 대회, 그 대회를 중계를 할 수 있게 돼서 오프닝 하러 가기 전에 막 그때는 막 이게 진짜 정말 나이 40이라는 게 사람한테 큰 일에서 내가 진짜 이게 거의 중년이라고 할 수 있는데 이 나이에 내가 사실은 많은 사람들의 관심을 받는 가장 중요한 리그를 중계할 수 있다니 정말 감격적이고 리그 오브 레전드 라이엇 게임스 그리고 리그 오브 레전드 좋아하시는 팬들께 정말 감사하면서 야 이거 내가 진짜 무대에 올라가면 울 것 같다. 근데 올라가기 전에 밑에 있어서 막 눈물이 글썽글썽이었거든요. 근데 지금도 약간 글썽글썽인데 그때 딱 올라갔는데 그때 오디오 방송 사고가 나서 정신 번쩍 차리고 해서 뭐 울자 그랬었는데 그때가 정말 기억이 나요. 저는 이게 배우가 아니거든요. I'm not actor. 그래서 그러니까 그분들이 저를 바라보고 있고 그 많은 웅성웅성 와는 이런 뭐 이런 거 있잖아요. 그런 게 있어야 저도 거기에 그럼 100명이 있을 때는 톤이 있고 1000명이 있을 때는 톤이 있고 10,000명이 있을 때는 톤이 있어. 준결승 톤이 있고 결승전 톤이 있어. 결승전 톤은 결승전에만 나오고 준결승에서는 아무리 해도 안 나와. 그거는 팬이 있을 때만 가능한 거죠. e스포츠가 만들어진 뭐 한국에서 e스포츠 종족이라고 대한민국이 그렇게 얘기합니다만 종족이 된 이후로 가장 중요한 행사가 롤드컵인 것 같아요. 이번 저 상암 경기장. 그래서 불안합니다. 제가 잘 못한 거죠. 불안합니다. 또 그 자리에 제가 선택받았다는 것에 대해서 정말 뭐라고 할까 막 끌어오르는 진짜 내가 저기서 한번 신나게 한번 놀아봐야겠다. 제대로 한번 내가 다 쓰고 정말 그 껍데기만 있는 상태에서 내려와야겠다. 내 몸에 조금이라도 힘이 남아있으면 내 몸에서 그 목이 멀쩡한 상태에서 절대 내려오지 않겠다. 그런 생각으로 다 저기다 던져놓고 저기 상암 스테디움에다 다 던져놓고 그리고 내려오고.
What a promise. I mean, voice, energy, love, heart, everything behind on stage. I just want to touch on something that stands out for me. Jun was talking about how emotional he gets and how he, cried during the first OGN final. I did back-to-back at Gamescom. I get there watching that event for years and years and years, and my birthday happens to fall over it. And I know exactly what it's like, being so passionate and so in love with eSports, the video game, the scene. I can relate really closely to the sentiment and the message.
I just love, once again, how humble he is and how nice of a person he is, because I met him so many times before I even knew what a background he had. He's been doing this for 15 years. He still remembered me. He still remembered my name when I'm one of the maybe hundreds of, if not 1,000 players he's met over time. And it's really fun figuring out how big of an experience, how big of an example he is, and just want to follow in his footsteps one day.
Yeah, me too. And what's funny for me is I started first downloading broadcasts from OGN in Korean in the mid-2000s when I was still a teenager, so about 10 years ago. And I remember seeing him on stage and hearing his voice and how pumped up he got for these esports matches. And it really added so much value to my experience. So when I got the chance to move to Korea and then work with him for the past couple of years, it was just such an honor for me because I started out as a big fan of this guy, and he's one of the most, if not the most experienced broadcaster. I know if I ever have questions about broadcasting in esports, he's been through all of the trials and tribulations before, and he always offers me great advice.
I can really relate to how he says he tries to leave all of his energy and passion on stage, because when I go up to play, I want to do the same thing. You never want to feel like you left something there, something to be desired on stage, something like that. You always want to feel like I gave it my all, I gave it my 100%, I did my best. And, you know, like, it is really nervous to be in front of a giant crowd. I'm nervous right now, and I'm just sitting on the desk with you guys. It's like, it's really just intimidating to see all these people everywhere, and it's hard. It's really hard to give it your 100% when you're kind of distracted, nervous.
Yeah, the one thing that helps me, though, and I've had the pleasure and the luxury of being able to broadcast in front of live audiences for a couple of years now, and I have to completely agree with what he says. Like, it's different when you're in front of a final compared to a semifinal. It's different when you're in front of an audience that can react to what you're saying, that laugh at your jokes or cheer at the same moments that you are, and it just brings you up. I never get excited before an event. As soon as I sit down, though, and I see these people behind us, and I see the giant screens over there, and I can see all this, I'm just like, okay, we're here, and I'm up. I'm at 110% the entire time, and to have an actual audience there with you to be with those moments as well it doesn't compare to anything.
No, it really doesn't. I want to get back to the nerves question in a moment. Before we do, we've got a crowd here, but they're not the only crowd, because there's viewing parties happening all over the world as fans are getting together to watch the World Championship live, regardless of the time. Here's a look at the Midnight Finals viewing party inside the hangar at the Orange County Fair in California. Fans are ready for these matches to begin. I believe there's 1,500 of them in that venue. I also want to share the sentiment when you do have crowds yelling, screaming, chanting. It actually makes it more difficult to focus and get in, because you just want to go ham. You just want to yell and scream with everybody. I want to touch on nerves. We have less than 2.5 minutes before we throw to the opening ceremonies. Crepo and Double Lift, as the two people at this desk, has been on stages similar to this, but smaller scale. What's it like knowing a World Championship final is about to start in your mind and your heart?
Well, I've never played a World Championship final. Made it to semis.
That's why we're here. That's why we're sitting here.
I've made it to semis, and honestly, it's literally, at that moment, I did not know how big that moment was, and that's the only thing I regret, is not realizing how close I was, and it was both a curse and a blessing, because 1 year later, I realized I was this close to play for that 1 million, and that made me really sad. So just the point I want to make is sometimes you get caught up in the moment and you don't realize how amazing it all is until you look back in retrospect. But I'm really glad I had that experience. It was an amazing crowd, and this final for both these teams is going to be an amazing memory regardless of what happens.
Yeah, I've actually never won anything my whole career, but I have played in a lot of really high-stakes tournaments and a lot of finals, and it's just mostly for me, I get really nervous and really caught up. Like, my hands are shaking, I can't really see straight, and
well, Double Lift, you're going to have to calm yourself down and hold on to the nerves. Ladies and gentlemen, we are 1 minute and 37 seconds away from kicking off the opening ceremonies. Wherever you are in the world, I want you to wake your family, your neighbors, your pets, and your friends. Scream loud. The World Championship final opening ceremony is about to start.